All right, welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the first episode. My name is Floris, and I'm here with my friend Marc.
I am Marc, guys. How are you doing?
Welcome. This is going to be the first episode of the podcast, and it's going to be more like a small intro of us and what we are doing and what's the plan with the podcast.
Yeah.
So every time we pretty much hang out, no, we talk about deep stuff.
Yeah.
And I think there's so much value in our talks, right? And
Yeah.
the other day we were walking around the city and we were talking about this, how my God, we should record and upload these talks to somewhere. So that's how the idea came with the podcast. And well, I do think that you have a lot of experience when it comes to, well, you're a coach, coaching people, and when it comes to understanding people and psychology and human behavior, and obviously we talk about these topics a lot. I'm also a coach, so I do think we have a lot of experience, and also we can provide a lot of value. So obviously recording these episodes hopefully will serve with value to people.
Yeah, I think one of the most important things of the podcast is it's not only going to be the amount of knowledge that we have, whether it's a lot or not that much, but it's more like experiences, because at the end of the day, like, every experience is different when it comes to, even if it's just the same industry or different industries or anything, everyone as a professional has different kind of experiences, and that gives you a certain type of knowledge that maybe for people who are either starting out or even like during the process but haven't had those experiences yet, it can kind of gives them a little bit of a different perspective, or how to approach things, or how to say things, or how to behave in a certain way. So I think or at least for me, I think one of the most valuable things about the podcast is going to be like sharing experiences, so people see different perspectives and they don't assume that what they're doing is the only way to do it. But there is more, and there's many more ways, and there's many more ways to experience certain things and be a coach or do an online business, because this is pretty much what we do. And it's just different perspectives. At the end of the day, everyone has his own journey and his own path, and we all live through it differently, and sharing that just for a different perspective, I think that's what brings the most amount of value. If we can sit here and be just like all technical and be like, okay, because I'm a fitness coach, so I can be like, oh, this is how you lose fat. Well, yeah, okay, but I think it's more useful if I speak about human behavior, what leads to habits, what leads to this and what leads to that, and people take that not as the Bible, as in what I say is the truth, but more as in, okay, that's his perspective. He's seen that. Oh, interesting. So I think that's gonna be the most important thing about the podcast, just sharing knowledge and experiences, most of all.
Yeah, exactly. I do agree, because obviously every person is different, right?
Yeah.
Also, there are basics to building a business or coaching or a niche. When it comes to a niche, right? There are basics, but also every person is different. So what works for one client or one person doesn't mean that it works for another person, or not 100% the same, right? Approach. So yeah, I think that's gonna be the best part of the podcast now. Because I think also many people, they see you on social media and you have over 100,000 followers on Instagram, right? And they see you and they probably think, oh, this guy is huge. He has so many followers, and I mean, you're just a human. Obviously, you know how to build a follower base. You're an amazing coach, but you're just a human, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's also nice to see the behind the scenes of a coach's life, right?
I think that's gonna be also like really good to see, because I mean, even for me, when I look at all the people that I look up to, as in other like content creators or coaches and everything, who are like way farther away along the path than I am, I try to take as much knowledge as I can from what they're doing, but I also want to see the behind the scenes, because I know they're human as well, and they struggle as well, and they have issues, and they have problems, and they have a personal life that affects everything. And I think that's going to be, it's like a reality check. It's like, okay, that person that I always see through the screen, okay, that's not AI, that's an actual real human being with problems as well and struggles. And I think sharing that allows people to see that, hey, not everything that you see on social media is perfect, and not everyone has everything figured out, and we all, figure it out along the way as we go. So I think that's one of the best things to show on a podcast. It's like, hey, we are human as well. We are not perfect. No one is, and we all have struggles and issues. And if we can share that here, for people to learn from that and maybe learn something about it and maybe avoid the mistakes that we might share, then the podcast is good to go then.
Exactly. We made all these mistakes, so you guys don't make these mistakes. No, but I think it's
pretty much, yeah.
The best way to learn is always from your own mistakes,
Yeah.
obviously. But when you hear someone else's experience, when it comes to building a business, for example, or daily life struggles, right?
Yeah.
It helps you to reflect and helps you to understand your situation better, and then also to improve, right?
And it opens your mind to different perspectives, because we are not coming here as in what we are saying, this is how life is or this is how the business is. We are just sharing our experiences and our knowledge, whether that's a lot of knowledge or not that much. But we just want to give you a different perspective, just to open your mind a little bit and you see things differently or through a different lens, because that's what it's all about. Like, there's no what's the expression? All paths lead to Rome. So it's just everything will get you there, but it's just different ways to get there. So we're just sharing experiences and sharing knowledge, and if that's beneficial for any of you, even if it's just for one person, then the job is done. So
exactly.
That's good.
There's always something to learn, right?
Yeah.
I always approach any kind of person or just a conversation like this, like what can I learn from this? And of course I can be like, this is boring, okay, this is whatever, but even then there is something to learn if you open your mind to it, right? So that's the whole idea of the podcast. And I think you as a coach also, you really value personal growth, you really value learning about stuff, of course, also because you're a coach, you also learn a lot about yourself in this whole process, no?
And most importantly, I learn about myself, but I also learn about habits and human behaviors, because fat loss happens the exact same way for everyone, but everyone's journey is different. So when I have a new client, it not only allows me to teach them what I know, but also that allows me to learn different kind of human behaviors, different habits, different patterns, that maybe that can help me identify those patterns in a different person further along the way, because I've seen this already. So I think as a coach, I take every person as in a complete new book that I'm going to read. Yes, I will provide content to that book, but that book is going to also provide content to me, because that's going to teach me a lot of stuff about humans and habits and everything that I will be able to apply to different clients. So that, I think that's one of the good things about working with different people, that you learn about every single person. It's the same with you. You also have that, right?
This is what I wanted to say, that I think one of the best part of being a coach is that, of course, you meet so many different kind of people, but you also get to understand them, right? And then the more you understand the person, the more you can help them, right? So that's obviously the goal for us coaches, to help the person. But for that, you have to understand the person.
Exactly.
So
And the good thing is that when you work with a person for the first time, and then you learn from that person, you're able to apply that knowledge to someone else in the future who might have a similar situation, not the same, because we all have a different situation, but kind of similar. Or maybe what I learned with this person, I can apply it to this person. It's going to help them faster and better than me just trying to learn everything from scratch. So I think that's also one of the good things about being a coach, that the more you do it and the more people you work with, the better you get at it, because the more you learn about humans and the more you are able to apply your knowledge in a more efficient way to everyone else. I think it doesn't matter the industry, whether it's mine, it's yours, any industry. When you're a coach and you coach people one-to-one, you learn from every single person, and that makes you a better coach for the upcoming clients.
Exactly. This is also what I noticed is when I got into coaching. So I'm a sex and porn addiction recovery coach, and obviously it's a sensitive topic and not many people talk about these topics, right? So I had to go to those platforms where I was able to find these people. And when I started talking to these people, so I was new on the platform, Reddit, right? I started to talk to hundreds of people every week, right? And when I started doing that, previously I didn't have that much experience talking to this many people, right? But then all of a sudden I was talking to hundreds of people every week, and that gave me so much understanding, right?
Because you were able to identify similar patterns, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing is, yes, every person is different, but there are a lot of
There's
patterns that
patterns,
are super similar,
Yeah.
and then you can like pinpoint, okay, maybe this, maybe not,
Exactly.
right? Not 100%. It's always the same, but
Yeah.
but there is a big chance that whatever you learn from one person, you will use in the future with
Yeah.
other clients because of, again, you're just connecting the dots.
Mm-hmm.
So that's huge, right? To actually have this communication and asking the right questions and understanding the person.
Yeah.
And obviously, the more people you talk to, the more people you coach or just casually talk to,
Yeah.
right? The more experience you have when it comes to understanding.
And that's pretty much one of the main benefits that I have from social media. Yes, I like creating content and everything, but also like seeing how people interact with the content and the kind of comments that I might receive or the questions that I might receive. That also allows me to see certain patterns of people who might not know this or might not know that, and that not only gives me, ideas of more content that's going to help them, but also things that I might want to implement in my coaching. Because, well, if I see so many people who don't really know this or are asking me that, well, maybe that's something to implement in my coaching. Because maybe what's common sense to me, it isn't for everyone else.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the good things about content as well.
Yeah. No, I mean, creating content and just putting it out there on social media and reaching millions of people potentially, right, is huge. And I talk to many guys, for example, especially when it comes to addiction, right, that most people who are dealing with addiction are not using social media in a healthy way. It's pretty much social media is using them, right? And I always get these comments like, yeah, social media is evil. And I'm like, well, I mean, you can of course judge it all you want, but at the same time, you can also build a business and help millions of people. So it's about your perception and actually how you use it. At the end of the day, it's a tool, and it's really up to you how you use it, right?
It's a double-edged sword, and it's what you said. It just depends on how you use it. You can use it for bad shit or for good shit.
Yeah.
So you can use it to be all depressed because you compare yourself to people who you see online and everything, or you can use it for good stuff, to learn, to absorb knowledge, and to get inspired. So it just depends on... I was going to say it depends on perspective. Yeah, it does. But I also think it depends on mindset. Because depending on what kind of mindset you have, you will be more prone to one side or the other one. So I think it's all about first working on your mindset, so then you can use, social media or everything else for the good part of it. Because we can all criticize everything. There's always a bad side for everything. But there's always a good side as well. So why not focus on the good side?
Yeah, and we'll talk a lot about mindset because obviously mindset is crucial when it comes to life, but also when you're coaching or the people for the people you're coaching, right? It's also in my coaching I teach people that of course recovery is a journey and there are many tools and you have to have a lot of knowledge, but you also need the right mindset, right? And many people I think underestimate or don't even take this serious, right? So mindset is huge, and we will talk about mindset a lot. Because obviously, based on your mindset, you will change or you will create the perception of your reality, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the base pretty much.
Yeah, and I think that's the base for everything. I think depending on what kind of mindset you have, that's how your life is gonna go. I think your mindset determines everything, because your character, your ideas, your way of perceiving things, and your way of reacting things that happen to you, that's what really determines what kind of life you have. Whether it's just a sad, mediocre, and depressed life, or life with ups and downs, like we all have, but we kind of learn from them and we keep improving. So, and I think one of the good and bad things, like in your case, for example, is that people who are addicted to porn and sex and everything are sometimes or usually in a kind of a dark place. And I say that's bad because, they're in a dark place, but in a good way, it allows you, for example, to get them out of that place and have a really huge impact on their life, right?
And a lot of times it happens, it's just like one sentence or just one mindset shift. I have a client right now, and he sent me a message today in the morning, like a self-reflection video, and this guy is progressing like crazy. He started 3 weeks ago, and the mindset shift he's going through is even for me is insane. And I was like, wow, I was so proud of him, right? So obviously I'm teaching him, about all these things, but also he's open to it, right? And that's the other thing. You have to be open to these things. Like I also work with people who were not coachable, right? You tell them A and they do B. So if you're not coachable, you will not be able to, do these mindset shifts and get out of or solve your problems, whatever.
And I think that's the big problem. A lot of people are not coachable because I think a lot of people have a really huge ego and they think they know better. But I always trigger them the same way. Well, if you knew better, you would have already achieved what you want to achieve and what you are paying me to help you achieve. So what's going on over here? So I think people sometimes need a reality check that they might know stuff, but they don't know everything, and they for sure don't know more than someone who actually is a professional in that area.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good way as well to trigger them, like, you know things, but I know more.
Yeah.
And that's why you're paying me to help you. So do what I say, or you can just continue on your own, not achieving what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of really like making people realize that you need to be coachable, and you don't always know everything.
Yeah.
There's this quote that I remember one time. This guy said it to me when I was studying for, one of my classmates when I was studying for becoming a PT, and he said this quote and really got stuck with me. And he said, "I would give up everything I know to know half of what I don't." So even if you think you know a lot, there is a lot more that you have no clue about.
Yeah.
So those kind of people who think they know everything, those are the ones who progress the least.
Yeah.
So you need.
And that's the proof that if you believe that you know everything, that's the proof that you don't.
That's exactly.
That's the proof.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's,
yeah.
Oh, well.
No, but I think it's also your job as a coach, to trigger people, and also maybe this podcast will trigger a lot of people because the way we think. I hope. Because the way we think is obviously different, right? Mm-hmm. To just a person who's not a coach, right? Yeah. And it's also your job to call out your clients on their bullshit, or give them a reality check, like you said before, because many times they are in their own reality, and that's not the reality. That's just based on your perception and your experiences, but that's not the reality. Right?
Exactly, and I think people sometimes need to realize that when you're hiring a coach, that coach has already been through what you're doing for what you're going through right now, and they have overcome it. And they have done better, and they have learned from it. So you're paying them to, first of all, avoid those mistakes that they made, and second of all, help you to achieve your goal faster in a more efficient way. Yeah. So it's like the clients that we help, both you and me, we have already gone through what they're going through. So that's where we can help you, because we have already done that. We have made a lot of mistakes along the way, and we're helping you avoid those mistakes and transfer you all our knowledge. But you need to be willing to learn. Yeah. And you need to be willing to have a different perspective. Because if you pay me and you think you know more than me, why are you paying me? Yeah. And just go do it on your own and keep being stuck for the rest of your life. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, at least those people actually got to the point where their ego was not that strong, and they actually paid you, and maybe they have worked for you for a few weeks. That's the first step. But there are those people who maybe jump on a call with you, and they are like, you know what, man, I'm just gonna do it on my own. Yeah. It's like, good luck, but then why are you in the call, right? So this is also the thing, like, but also it's tricky because I see many people also who start coaching people, right? And yes, they overcame something, but in my niche, especially in my niche, I see many guys who try to help other people, and they low-key coach them, right? But they don't have the psychological or neurological or any kind of experience. They just did whatever worked for them. Now, I'm not saying that whatever worked for you can work for someone else, but you also need more knowledge, right? Yeah. You need to actually know what you're doing, right? And that you will only get after a few years of experience in coaching. And because of this, I see also many coaches who start out and they don't really know what they are doing. They just only know the one thing that worked for them. So they don't have this like open right mindset, okay, so what else is there out there? What else is what I can learn, right? So for example, even when it comes to my clients, every coaching call I go into, I'm like, what can I learn from this guy? What can I learn from this guy? Me as the coach, right? Yeah, exactly. And if you don't have this mindset, then you're like, no, this worked for me. This is it. Yeah. Well, you're limited.
I think that those are. I'm sorry, but I think those are the worst kind of coaches because they try to apply the same experience and the same knowledge to everyone else, and that's not how it works.
No.
Like there might be certain basics that might be applicable to everyone. As like for me as a fitness coach, the way I lose fat is the way everyone else on this planet loses fat. But that doesn't mean that I have to make them the exact same diet or with the exact same foods or with the exact same kind of training.
Yeah.
So the coaches that have this one experience and they assume that this is what's going to work for everyone else, well, that's not the case. It's like me being, okay, well, chicken and rice and fucking cold fish works for me, so I'm going to do that for everyone else. Well, 99% of the time it's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's going to work for the 1% who is a fucking retard like me who actually doesn't mind to eat the same things every day.
Yeah.
But applying the same thing just because it worked for you, I think is the worst way.
Yeah.
It's the best way to fuck up and the worst way to be a coach.
Yeah.
Because you assume as well that you know everything, like we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
And then that you know how this works like this and that's it. Well, not really.
Yeah. No, obviously there are basics, like you said,
Yeah.
no? But you also have to be open, even as a coach, right?
Yeah.
To always learn new things. And there's always something to learn, right? Like we said before.
And even as a coach, I think you need to be open to the fact that sometimes you fuck up as well, because you're human as well, and you might make mistakes, or you might be trying to do a certain thing with a client, but maybe all of a sudden you realize that, well, shit, maybe this is going to work better on them. And I've been fucking up this time. So you need to be honest as well with yourself and with your clients. You need to be open to like constructive critics and also to, making mistakes. Because we are all human, and at the end of the day, we all make mistakes every now and then. But it all comes down to just lowering your ego again, and just being open-minded and assuming that you don't really know. Well, I was going to say everything. You don't really know that much compared to everything there is to know.
Yeah.
All about ego. I think it's all about ego and mindset. And people who have it, they will progress, whether it's a coach or the client. And people who don't, you're gonna get stuck, whether it's the client or the coach. That's why mindset is so important. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're going to be talking about in the next episodes. So I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode, and I hope that you're excited for the next one. I think it was a good one. It was more of a random talk, but I think that this is what's going to be, just random.
It's going to be a random talk, sharing our experiences, knowledge, and mistakes. So stay tuned. Yeah. And well, we still don't know the name of the podcast. We don't know when we are going to upload the first episode or like the episodes. Yeah. But that's going to come, so don't worry.
Yeah, and this just shows one of the things I will teach you, which is don't wait for the perfect moment, just take action and start now. So.
Yeah, there is no perfect moment.
Exactly. The perfect moment...
Just the present.
Yeah, exactly. Like the quote says, the perfect moment to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second perfect moment is now.
So let's go plant the tree.
Let's go plant the tree. Okay.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
Peace.